17. Unbelievable Facts About Yemen, the land that shouldn't exist. Number 17. The country with the most open weapon markets in the world. Yes, you heard that right. In Yemen, buying and selling personal weapons happens openly, just like buying tomatoes or eggs at a street market. This isn't a rumor or an exaggeration. It's been confirmed many times by Small Arms Survey, Al Jazeera, and Reuters. In areas like Sada, Al-Baida, or the outskirts of Sana'a, you can walk down a street just a few hundred yards long and see hundreds of gun shops lined up side by side, like coffee shops in America. On dusty wooden shelves, there's every kind of weapon. Chinese, AK-47s, priced at $150 to $400, Semenovs for over $100, and old Dragunovs for $800 to $1,500. And if you think that's all, right next door you might find a shop selling RPG-7 launchers and RPG rounds for just $100 to $300 each. Everything is out in the open, no secrecy, no passwords, no paperwork. About 60 to 90% of Yemeni men own at least one gun. For them, carrying a gun is as natural as Americans carrying a driver's license. They believe it makes them safer. Boys who aren't old enough to use guns, yet carry Jambia daggers instead. This curved 120-degree dagger, with a silver or rhino horn handle, is considered the business card of Yemeni men. So what made dangerous weapons become everyday goods in a poor country scattered with rocky mountains and small villages? The answer lies in history. Yemen has loose borders, tribal structures stronger than the state, and has endured decades of conflict. During the Cold War, thousands of tons of weapons from the Soviet Union, Czechoslovakia, and China flooded into Yemen. When the fighting ended, these weapons didn't disappear. They poured into the markets and became part of the local economy. The Yemeni government has tried to control this. In 2007, they ordered more than 200 gun markets nationwide to close. But just weeks later, local tribes reopened almost all of them. For foreigners, buying a gun in Yemen isn't impossible. Al Jazeera once filmed a reporter buying an AK in just 20 minutes. The only requirement was to go with a tribal sponsor. Reuters also reported many cases where no paperwork was needed if the seller trusted you or your guide. But, as Small Arms Survey warns, buying isn't the problem. The problem is getting out. Checkpoints in Yemen operate under their own rules, controlled by different armed groups, and more than a few foreigners have been detained while carrying weapons. Number 16. The social living room of Yemeni men. In Yemen, there's a national habit you'd be hard-pressed to find anywhere else in the world. 85 to 90% of adult men chew khat leaves daily, and even over 30% of women join in. Khat is grown everywhere from dry valleys to high rocky mountains, all lush with this one green leaf that gives a buzz similar to downing several shots of strong espresso. The natural substance in khat acts much like amphetamine, making users feel light, talkative, and upbeat. Because of this, khat is banned in many countries, but in Yemen, Somalia, and Ethiopia, it's a part of everyday life. According to reports, 70 to 80% of Yemeni men stop working after 2 p.m. to enter the majlis, or mafraj, a special room just for chewing khat. They stuff leaves into one cheek until it bulges like a golf ball, then chew continuously until late evening. Afterward, they spit out the pulp, sip black tea, lounge on cushions, and chat until dinner or bedtime. It's a place to relax, like a social living room for Yemenis. And if you wonder why khat is so deeply rooted, just know, a khat tree can live over 40 years, and its profits are 5 to 7 times higher than wheat. But the cost is steep. Yemen is one of the most water-scarce countries in the world, with each person getting less than 2.5 gallons per day, the size of a small water cooler in the U.S. Yet, nearly 40% of the nation's clean water goes to irrigate khat. To grow 2.2 pounds of khat leaves, Yemen uses as much water as it would take to grow 15 pounds of coffee or 11 pounds of wheat, worsening the water crisis. Many farms have switched from wheat or corn to khat, so now 12% of Yemen's farmland is devoted to this single crop. The result? Children die every 10 minutes from hunger or dirty water. 20 million people depend on aid, and 70% of the population lives below the poverty line. Outside Yemen, khat is considered an illegal drug. So, can foreigners use it in Yemen? The answer: inside Yemen, khat is completely legal, and many international reporters have been invited to khat chewing sessions as part of the culture. However, you're not allowed to take khat out of Yemen, as that would break the laws of most other countries. Number 15. The camel urine business. In Yemen, Saudi Arabia, and many Arab tribal regions, there's a business that most Westerners shake their heads at: selling camel urine. This isn't some social media rumor. It's been reported by Al Jazeera, BBC, Gulf News, and the WHO. The traditional belief is that female camel urine, especially from never-mated camels, can cure all sorts of illnesses, from stomach and liver problems to fever, hair loss, and body detox. This belief is so strong that it's created an open market. On camel tour routes in Saudi Arabia, you can see plastic bottles labeled camel urine, 100% pure, lined up next to camel milk and traditional oils. The price is usually $4 to $20 per quart, about 26 cents to $1.30 per ounce. Cheaper than a Starbucks coffee, but marketed as a Middle Eastern miracle cure. Even stranger, camel urine isn't just for drinking. In some hair salons in Saudi Arabia and Oman, stylists admit to mixing a little camel urine into shampoo or hair oil, believing it thickens hair, reduces dandruff, and limits hair loss. There are even videos of stylists saying, "Clients don't know, but they're happy." Camel farms meet demand with custom collection services: female camels, young camels, and virgin camels. The market once boomed so much that a major scandal broke in Saudi Arabia. Some shops were exposed for selling pure camel urine that was actually the employee's own urine to save costs. The scandal was shocking not just for fraud, but for being seen as religiously offensive. Of course, science says otherwise. The WHO had to issue a special statement. Camel urine has no medicinal effects and can even carry E. coli, Brucella, and MERS-CoV, dangerous pathogens that can cause severe infections and death. But despite international warnings, traditional pharmacies in Yemen and Saudi Arabia still sell it. Here, cultural belief is stronger than scientific evidence. Number 14. Women as second-class citizens in Yemen. Like many other conservative Islamic countries, Yemen is a land ruled by men. According to the United Nations Gender Equality Index, in 2016, Yemen had the worst gender inequality in the world, making it one of the worst places on earth to be a woman. In Yemen, women are almost completely separated from the outside world. They live in their own spaces, spending so much time together that they've developed a special dialect, which even Yemeni men have trouble understanding. Only their closest male relatives, father, husband, brothers, are allowed to see their real faces. To everyone else, they're just silent black figures gliding through the streets, not driving, not working, not making decisions about their own lives. Inequality starts early. When a Yemeni girl is born, her place in the family and society is already lower than her brothers. While nearly 70% of men are literate, only 35% of women get a chance to learn to read and write. Education for girls isn't a basic right, it's a rare privilege. Many poor families send their sons to school, while daughters stay home to cook, clean, and prepare for a limited life. Yemen has no female members of parliament and has never had a female head of state. Even the law doesn't protect them. In Yemen, women can't easily get a divorce, can't travel freely, and can't open a bank account without a male family member's permission. That means even if she's an adult, has a job, and has her own money, the final decision sometimes belongs to her own son. Even worse, Yemen was the last country in the world without a minimum legal age for marriage. That meant anyone could marry a girl at any age without breaking the law. And if you think strict dress codes keep women safe, that's just an illusion. In Yemen, while women in many other Islamic countries cover their faces but leave their eyes visible, in some Yemeni regions, women must cover even their eyes, leaving only a tiny slit or a metal mesh. This is called the niqab kamaria. This isn't just religion, it's a deep-rooted conservative norm, where a woman's body, face, and even voice are considered things to hide. Some communities even forbid women from speaking to unrelated men, including police or rescue workers. But the saddest part is, even covered from head to toe, they're still not protected. Many Yemeni women still face harassment, domestic violence, and a legal system that offers almost no way out. The male guardian father, husband, brother, or even son still has the right to decide where they go, what they do, who they meet, and when they can leave the house. Number 13. An alien world. If NASA ever forgot a planet in the solar system, it would have to be Yemen's Socotra Island. No glass towers, no paved roads, no car horns. This island looks like a sci-fi movie set, cut off from Earth and dropped onto another planet. The first feeling you get here isn't I'm on vacation, but I've landed in an ecosystem untouched by humans. The reason Socotra is so strange comes from a shocking fact. This island separated from the mainland over 20 to 30 million years ago, long before modern humans appeared. During that time, its plants and animals evolved separately, untouched by any outside species. The result: Socotra has its own nature, DNA found nowhere else on Earth. The plant life here makes you wonder, am I on Earth or Pandora from Avatar? The dragon blood tree grows like a giant umbrella sculpture, and when cut, it bleeds red sap, creating a scene both beautiful and eerie. About 1/3 of Socotra's plants are endemic, meaning Earth has only one place to find them, right here. And if you think one weird tree is enough for a planet, Socotra gives you the cucumber tree, a plant with a swollen trunk, like a mutant potato, branches growing backward, looking like alien creatures about to crawl away. Even the beaches are different. White sand is replaced by bizarrely shaped limestone, creating landscapes like a worn-down moon. The animals are just as unique: no lions, no elephants, but instead, lizards, spiders, and bugs that look like they've walked straight out of a sci-fi movie. And if you see a bird, chances are you're looking at a species found only on Socotra, not in Africa, Asia, or even Antarctica. Not even penguins have this kind of biological exclusivity. But what makes Socotra even more mysterious is its people. About 60,000 islanders speak an ancient language called Socotri, part of the South Arabian group, but it has no writing system, can't be read in Arabic, and almost nobody outside the island can understand it. If you wander into a village, you might wonder, am I talking to Yemenis, Somalis, or a tribe never recorded in history? Deep inside the island, Socotra hides secrets no one has solved. Hoke Cave, one of the largest caves, stretches over 4.3 miles, with cathedral-high stalactite rooms, glowing green underground lakes, and ancient inscriptions carved 2,000 years ago, like messages from a forgotten civilization. The most amazing thing: Socotra is still untouched. No Starbucks, no McDonald's, no resorts, no high-speed Wi-Fi. No one comes to take over, no one comes to destroy. Only nature, sea breezes, strange rocks, and dragon blood trees that look like giant satellites blocking the sun. Number 12. Sewing money is a real job in Yemen. If you've ever had a $20 bill with a torn corner and rushed to the bank to exchange it, in Yemen, people don't throw that bill away, they sew it back together. Yes, sewing money is an actual job in Yemen, where tailors can patch, glue, or carefully stitch bills so they keep circulating. Some bills have been sewn up to 10 times and are still in use. Many shopkeepers say they've seen the same bill they spent months ago come back to them, each time with a new patch. Some shops even hang beautifully repaired bills on the wall, as proof of their craftsmanship. In this context, Central Bank of Yemen's rules about destroying damaged bills are almost impossible to enforce. New bills are rare, printing plants are unreliable, materials are scarce, transporting money through war zones is dangerous, and paper money is used as a political tool by rival factions. So the government has to use patched-up, tattered bills to pay public workers, teachers, doctors, and for all official transactions. With about 80% of the population, over 24 million people, relying on humanitarian aid, and an average income of just $2 a day, every Yemeni rial is precious. Imagine walking into a market in Sana'a, pulling out a torn 1,000 rial note worth only about $1. Instead of rejecting it, a money repairer will quickly stitch it back together with the precision of a surgeon. Some even use tape, glue, or paper patches to extend the bill's life by months or even years. Number 11. Women-only coffee shops in Yemen. In Yemen, a country where women's freedom is rarer than clean water, a women-only coffee shop is nothing short of a mini-revolution in the heart of Marib. That's right, Morning Icon. Founded by Faris, a woman bold enough to challenge social norms. Imagine this. In a place where men control almost all public spaces, women usually have two choices: stay home or go out as shadows. But Morning Icon boldly offers a 100% female space, where women can drink coffee, chat, and enjoy, not being judged. This might sound normal in the West, but in Yemen, it's more special than finding free Wi-Fi in the desert. This coffee shop is unique not just for its no-men policy, but because it survives in a crashing economy. Coffee and drinks are mostly imported, meaning a latte here costs as much as a meal for a whole family. But who cares? Enjoying coffee without men's stares is a priceless privilege. Of course, Morning Icon faces gossip. Some conservative men see it as a threat because if women can freely drink coffee, who knows what they'll want tomorrow? To work? Go to college? Drive? Oh wait, they still don't have that right. But despite all criticism, Faras sticks to her mission, proving Yemeni women can do more than cook. They can run a business too. Number 10. The nose touch greeting. If you think a handshake is the world's most common greeting, you've never met the Bedouin people of Yemen and the Arab region. Here, instead of shaking hands or hugging, people greet by touching noses. That's right, they bring their faces close and gently touch noses, sometimes just once, but sometimes 3, 5, or even 7 times. Many scholars believe this custom comes from camels, the gift of Allah, which are vital to desert tribes. Camels use their noses to recognize each other, and ancient Bedouins copied this as a greeting. I recognize you, I trust you. So, nose touching isn't for strangers. It's reserved for people who really matter. Tribe members, honored guests, elders, or someone considered an honorary brother. If a Bedouin touches noses with you, it's the highest sign of respect. The number of nose touches shows closeness. Once is formal, twice shows affection. 3 or more means special respect. At important meetings, tribal leaders might touch noses 5 or 7 times, like Westerners holding a handshake longer to show formality. Desert culture also preserves another ancient custom: smelling breath. Sounds odd, but in a place with little water, breath was once a way to judge health, honesty, and intentions. This is rarely practiced now, but it explains why Arabs see the nose, especially the bridge, as the seat of honor. You might hear them say, "Keep your nose high," meaning, keep your dignity. The nose greeting also reflects the tough life of tribes living on camels, dates, milk, bread, and rice, simple foods that help them survive the vast desert. When meat appears only on special occasions and fish is found only by the coast, greeting customs become key to showing unity, trust, and social ties in these small communities. Number 9. The land of happiness that isn't happy. Located at the southern tip of the Arabian Peninsula, Yemen is a mysterious and captivating land where thousands of years of history are etched into every street and mountain. Covering about 214,000 square miles, almost as big as California, Yemen looks completely different. From blazing deserts to towering mountains like Colorado, to bustling beaches like Florida. Most importantly, Yemen controls Bab el-Mandeb, one of the world's most strategic straits, connecting the Red Sea to the Indian Ocean like the Panama Canal. When people think of the Middle East, they picture burning deserts, but Yemen's climate is incredibly diverse. Northern mountains can drop to 30 degrees Fahrenheit in winter, while inland deserts can hit 120 degrees Fahrenheit, like going from Alaska to Arizona. And on the eastern coast, Yemen has the world's strongest monsoon winds up to 45 to 55 miles per hour blowing for months and keeping fishermen ashore. One country, 3 extreme climates: freezing, scorching, and stormy. The name Yemen comes from yum, meaning happiness in Arabic. People call it the Happy Kingdom, but that's not true today. With ongoing civil wars and political instability, Yemen is far from a happy country. With a population of over 30 million, Yemen's density is similar to Texas, but most people live in cities and mountains. The people are mostly Muslim, split into Sunni and Shia, and though they all speak Arabic, Yemen has so many unique dialects that even Arabs from other countries struggle to understand. Some areas still speak Mehri, an ancient language older than Arabic, like Latin compared to English. Scientists are especially interested in Yemen's genes, considered among the oldest outside Africa. Genetic studies show Yemenis carry markers from tens of thousands of years ago, helping scientists trace the first human migrations out of Africa. Number 8. Mudbrick skyscrapers. If you think skyscrapers were invented by New York or Dubai, let me introduce you to Shibam, Yemen, where high-rise buildings have stood since the 16th century, without a single steel beam or pane of glass. Shibam has about 7,000 residents living in over 500 buildings, each 6 to 11 stories tall, all true mud houses. The walls are up to 6 feet thick, keeping interiors cool by day, warm by night, and withstanding the harshest desert winds. Amazingly, these buildings are still used as modern apartments, with families living on different floors like a medieval Manhattan in the heart of Yemen. It's no accident that Shibam is called the Manhattan of the desert. But instead of yellow cabs and Starbucks on every corner, you'll see dusty alleys, slow-moving donkeys, and mud brick walls thick enough to last centuries. In fact, while modern glass buildings need constant maintenance, Shibam residents just add a new layer of mud each year, and voila, their homes look brand new. What's incredible is that Shibam is still lived in. Imagine living in a 500-year-old high-rise, where instead of elevators, you climb clay stairs, and if there's a problem, you don't call a repairman, you just mix more mud and patch it up. This is NT modern architecture. It's self-healing design, something even 21st century engineers are trying to recreate. In 1982, UNESCO designated Shibam a World Heritage Site, making it one of the most unique monuments still standing. Number 7. The Well of the Earth. Imagine standing before a dark, gaping hole, nearly 100 feet wide, the length of a basketball court, and at least 800 feet deep, enough to swallow a 60-story skyscraper. That's the Barhout Well, also called the Well of Hell, one of the world's most terrifying sinkholes, located in eastern Yemen. What makes Barhout Well legendary isn't just its terrifying depth, but the spooky stories around it. Locals believe this is the gateway to hell. They say anyone who gets close feels a chill down their spine, hears strange sounds from the earth, and even smells a foul odor. Some say it's the scent of demons. What does science say? In 2021, a team of Omani explorers dared to descend to the bottom of first. Instead of finding bad luck, they discovered a strange ecosystem with giant stalactites, mysterious underground streams, and even animals sucked into the well. But the mystery of the weird smell remains unsolved. Number 6. Mass weddings. If you think a grand wedding means a fancy dress, hundreds of guests, and a party so expensive you need a loan, welcome to Yemen. Picture this: a huge square filled with men in white robes with gold trim, dancing to the traditional Baraa music. From a distance, it looks like a sword dance performance or a Game of Thrones scene, but it's a wedding. In Yemen, grooms don't quietly wait for the bride, they shout and dance. Meanwhile, the bride doesn't appear at the main event, but has a private party at home with female family and friends. If you wonder why the bride isn't present for the big moment, the answer is simple. In Yemen, a wedding doesn't have to include the bride at first. And the wedding feast? No 3-tier cakes or expensive champagne. Instead, guests enjoy mandi rice, roast lamb, malawa bread, and fresh yogurt. But why do they have mass weddings? The answer is cost. A typical wedding in Yemen can cost $5,000 to $20,000. But if you share your big day with dozens of others, that drops to just a few $100s. Number 5. Yemen's most fascinating festival. If there's a time when Yemen is at its brightest and most vibrant, it's Eid al-Fitr, the festival marking the end of Ramadan. After 30 days of fasting from dawn to dusk, Yemenis hit the streets in their finest traditional clothes. Women wear hand-embroidered dresses and gold-trimmed headscarves. Men don crisp white outfits with curved jambia daggers at their belts as a symbol of formality. The festival atmosphere blooms everywhere. The scent of Bint al-San honey cake fills the air. Children laugh as they receive cash gifts from adults. Rich or poor, every family tries to prepare at least one big meal to share with neighbors, because on Eid, no one should go hungry. And if you think Yemen is just desert and old mud buildings, the Sana'a Summer Festival will surprise you. In summer, when cool breezes make the capital pleasant, all of Sana'a turns into a giant stage. On the streets, you'll see performers dancing the warrior bara men spinning with gleaming swords. Women join in with graceful spinning dances, their dresses sparkling in the sun. Night markets glow with lights and crowds. This is the best time to try salta, Yemen's signature stew with bubbling fenugreek sauce. But that's not all. One of Yemen's most unique festivals is the Al-Mahra Camel Racing Festival, where hundreds of camels race to the cheers of entire towns. It's not just a traditional sport, it's a point of pride for nomads. With camel jockeys coming from across the Arabian Peninsula, the racecourse stretches for miles, and some camels can hit 40 miles per hour faster than many professional cyclists. And finally, don't miss Henna Night, the pre-wedding hand-decorating party for women. In a space filled with drums and incense, Yemeni women gather to paint henna on their hands and feet and sing traditional songs. For many visitors, this is one of Yemen's most personal and heartwarming experiences. Number 4. Palaces built on mountain rocks. Amid the majestic Wadi Dar Valley, perched atop a rock nearly 66 feet high, Dar al-Hajar Palace looks like a fortress out of Arabian fairy tales. If you think modern skyscrapers in New York or Dubai are architectural marvels, imagine this. This palace has stood for centuries on a bare rock, with no steel or modern concrete. It's not a luxury hotel you can book online, but it's a masterpiece that survived time, war, and even the Middle East's worst sandstorms. Though it looks like a forgotten Game of Thrones tower from the outside, inside, Dar al-Hajar has 35 fully equipped rooms. Ironically, though built nearly a century ago on a rocky outcrop, the palace's natural ventilation and cooling system works better than many modern hotels in big cities. Thanks to smart vents and thick stone walls, the palace stays cool even when it's 120 degrees Fahrenheit outside, while people in Los Angeles are still searching for shade in summer. Not just a summer retreat for Yemen's kings, Dar al-Hajar has something even Manhattan's skyscrapers envy: an independent water supply. Beneath the palace is an ancient underground well, keeping water flowing through the dry season without public pipes or bottled water delivery. And if the palace amazes you, check out the valley below. Yemen has even more balancing wonders. The village of Al-Hajara clings to a sheer cliff, houses stacked like giant honeycombs. Locals call it the Hanging Village, a beautiful, gravity-defying feat. The strangest might be Hayd al-Jazil, a tiny village that looks straight out of a fantasy movie. It sits on a rock over 500 feet above the Wadi Hadramaut Valley, making the landscape seem otherworldly. The houses, made of mud bricks the same color as the cliffs, can withstand the desert sun for up to 250 years without crumbling. Today, Hayd al-Jazil has only about 17 residents, as of 2004, living without rivers or lakes, relying on Wadi's natural water channels that only fill during the rainy season. Number 3. One of the spiciest cuisines in the Middle East. Yemeni cuisine is a whole different world. Bold, fiery, primitive, yet artistic, and definitely not for the faint of heart. From the first dish, Yemen makes its mark with zhoug, a green sauce so spicy foreigners call it green napalm. But if you think that's the limit, wait until you try basbas, a red chili paste described as the stuff that makes men cry and women proud. In Yemen, spices aren't just for flavor, they're a test of your endurance. But spice isn't the scariest part. Salta, Yemen's signature dish, is served in a red-hot stone pot, bubbling like a volcano. Yemenis joke, if you eat salta slowly, you'll miss lunch. If you don't eat fast, the egg and fenugreek sauce will burn right onto the pot, and that's just lunch. If you visit Yemen without trying mandi, it's like you've never been there. Mandi isn't cooked in a pot, it's hung in a stone pit, 6 feet deep, with wood burned at the bottom for natural smoke. The meat hangs in the pit, steamed by water and smoke for 3 to 6 hours, until it's so tender it falls off the bone just by looking at it. For Americans used to modern smokers, mandi is like an ancient, more primal, and tastier version. Yemeni bread is just as special. Instead of spoons or forks, Yemenis use khubz tanur, nearly 20-inch long flatbreads, baked in ovens, heated to 930 degrees Fahrenheit. Bread is both a tool and a secret weapon to scoop sauce, dip meat, and tame the heat of zhug. Nowhere else in the Middle East is bread so varied and respected. Then there's breakfast, a real culture shock. While Americans go for cereal, pancakes, or sandwiches, Yemenis eat roast lamb, bean soup with zhug, or oven bread dipped in cedar honey, the world's most expensive honey, costing hundreds of dollars per kilo. One of the most interesting dishes is a seed, a thick wheat dough that pops and sizzles like a tiny volcano when hot sauce is poured on top. And finally, Yemeni coffee, the birthplace of global coffee culture. Mocha isn't just a chocolate flavor. It comes from Yemen's port of Mocha. Coffee beans grown on mountains over 7,200 feet high, nourished by mist and wind, are among the world's rarest and most expensive. Number 2. Where time stands still. Step into Bab al-Yemen market in Sana'a, and you'll feel like you've walked through a time portal back hundreds of years. This isn't just Yemen's biggest market, it's one of the oldest in the world, where merchants still trade the way their ancestors did in the 10th century. No cash registers, barcodes, or modern checkouts. Everything happens by word, handshake, and the art of bargaining. Wander through the narrow alleys packed with stalls, and everything is coated in the dust of ages. Spice shops pile turmeric, cinnamon, and cumin into mountains, filling the air with pungent aromas. But the most special thing? Nothing has a fixed price. If you're a tourist, good luck. The first price the seller gives might make you faint, not because it's expensive, but because it's a test of your patience. At Bab al-Yemen, buying something isn't just a transaction, it's a social ritual. A seller will offer you tea before bargaining, as a sign of hospitality. And don't think handing over money ends the deal. They'll tell you the item's history, how their great-grandfather sold it, even share family stories during negotiations. Though Bab al-Yemen seems mysterious and romantic, poverty is obvious. Young men weave through the crowd, carrying baskets with a few trinkets, eyes full of hope. Some sellers try to keep tourists around, since a sale today could mean dinner for their whole family tonight. But despite poverty, Yemenis keep their dignity. They don't beg or plead, but still offer you tea with pride. Number 1. Cost of living in Yemen. The cost of living in Yemen is much lower than in Western countries, making it one of the cheapest places to live in the world. Rent in Yemen is especially low. A one-bedroom apartment in downtown Sana'a may cost only $150 to $250 per month, while in the suburbs or smaller cities, rent can drop to just $100 to $150. This might surprise Americans, since that's about what you'd pay just to park your car in San Francisco. In rural areas, people often don't pay rent at all, living in homes built over generations. Food in Yemen is also very affordable, thanks to traditional farming and local markets. A full meal at a basic restaurant costs around $2 to $4, while even at a nicer restaurant, a meal is just $10 to $15, the price of a burger at McDonald's in the USS. Staples like bread, vegetables, and meat are also cheap. A loaf of bread is about 20 cents. A gallon of fresh milk is around $2, and a pound of beef is $4 to $6. Transportation is extremely cheap, too. In big cities, a typical taxi ride costs $1 to $3, while buses are even cheaper, just 50 cents to $1 for a long trip. However, low prices come with limitations. Electricity, water, and internet aren't as reliable as in the West. A typical household pays $30 to $50 per month for electricity, but often needs a generator due to frequent blackouts. Internet is more expensive for the quality you get, with average plans costing $40 to $60 per month, but with much slower speeds than in America. Altogether, a single person can live comfortably in Yemen for under $500 per month, and a family of 4 can get by on $1,000 to $1,500 per month. With these costs, do you think Yemen could be a place for you to visit or live? If yes, comment 1. If not, comment 0. Thanks for your feedback. If you're really interested in coming here, comment 7 and we'll share visa, entry, and other requirements for Yemen. We've just explored the beautiful land of Yemen together. Thank you for watching today's travel documentary until the end. We hope you'll continue to join us on our next journeys to discover the wonders of the world.